folks. My name's Karl Monahan. I am the owner of the Pelvic Pain Clinic, dedicated solely to the treatment of male pelvic pain conditions, and I'm the founder of Pelvic Pain Matters, delivering education and support to men and those around patients suffering with pelvic pain as well. My Friday takeaways are little tidbits of information, snippets of goodness, things that can help you in your recovery, raising your awareness around some of the influential factors of your condition. Today, I'm going to talk about Teflon, velcro, and something called glimmers. And this will become a little bit more apparent very shortly. So we have a Teflon ability to hold on to negativity, sorry, to hold on to positivity. Our ability to hold on to positivity simply slips away. I'll give you an example from my day in a moment. But we have a Velcro ability to hold on to negativity, and it sticks. It really, really does. This is part of the human condition. We are very good at holding on to negativity. In pelvic pain, when we have pelvic pain, this isn't very helpful. Those moments where we feel better, where we've had some wins, where we've had some gains, we don't tend to hold on to them as much. What we often tend to do, and again, like I said, this is the human condition, but being aware of this can be really helpful. What we tend to do is we tend to be more biased towards the negativity. We tend to hold on to negative experience. We tend to ruminate around negative experience, and it can really dictate how we feel. This year, I've been building upon many themes around discipline in your recovery, how it can feel like pushing a car up a hill, how it's easier when you have someone to work with, um, what it's like when we label something, and what that experience will then give us as well in terms of our recovery. So this is something that's come up from a practical point of view, something we're covering in our Recover program at the moment. And just a really nice message I want to give to you that if we can open ourselves up to being aware of those good times, even if they're really fleeting, right? And by comparison, in a whole day, they may feel very insignificant, but they can be golden. They can really, really give us an anchor to drag ourselves further forwards in recovery. They can give us something to hold on to and to acknowledge and to recognize that change is happening. And it may be quite minuscule by comparison. And, if 99% of the day is just average at best, and only 1% of that is good or makes you feel okay or uplifted or happy or anything that's just positive, it might be very difficult to acknowledge that, grip hold of it, and use that as an anchor to pull yourself up. I'm using the metaphor of a climbing wall here, that they can be footholds or finger holds that can drag you up a little bit, can make you feel more buoyant, can make you realize that there are steps further forwards that you are making. I have this conversation with patients every single day of the week, every single week of the month, and every single month of the year, and so on as well, because we do tend to focus on what's not working well for us. We don't acknowledge what we're doing well. Instead, we focus on, let me give you an example. So a patient of mine yesterday, quite afraid of going to the gym, a history of going to the gym, working out hard, and this condition stopped him from doing so. And in our session yesterday, his focus was on what he was hoping to do next year, where he wanted to be, the things that he was hoping to do with his new daughter, by the end of the year when he's feeling better. And often we can stamp it with, when I'm 100% better, I will. And I said, well, let's acknowledge what you have done so far. Let's acknowledge what is going on. You've just, you've just had a baby. Obviously, he hasn't. That would be a miracle of science. But his partner's had a baby. And with all the uncertainty that that brought with it, he's actually doing really, really well. He's been able to move and lift really heavy boxes of dog food around. And he's been able to lift the carry cots. He's been able to lift the car seat. He's been lifting heavy things. It's not in the gym. It's not in a gym setting, but he's doing the things that he wants to do. But often we don't acknowledge them because it's very easy just to go, oh, I'm just doing that now, and just focus on what we're not able to do. And so project ourselves into our future and to see all the things that we're not doing at the moment. That's velcro, that's stickiness. We tend to just let those things slide that we are currently doing. But actually, on reflection, when we look back and say, but this is what you're doing, and you're wrestling with your dog and you're playing tug of war with her, and she's a 45 kg dog, that's a lot, right? There's a lot of physical strain there that's going on. Same with my last patient of the day as well. I want to get back running. I want to be doing a leg workout. Brilliant. Let's do that. Let's get that in the diary. Let's start planning for that. But let's also acknowledge that where you were at the start of this year, 2 months ago, you weren't in the gym and that you were afraid of lifting another patient. But now you're in there 3 times a week and you're swimming and you're out socializing again. I've given you permission to go and socialize and you're out having a few drinks. Nothing bad happens. Yeah, that's great, but I want to be doing this. Always wanting the next thing and the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. This is us. This is humans. This is what we do. But it is really helpful to stop and to acknowledge what we are currently doing that we weren't able to do. And a phrase springs to mind from a patient about a year ago. And again, I did a podcast on him as well. But the phrase was, remember what when you nah, excuse me, remember when you wanted what you currently have. Remember when you wanted what you currently have. At some point in your history, there would have been times when I just wish that that would happen. And maybe that is happening now, but we don't acknowledge that. Instead, we're planning ahead for the next thing and the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. So that Teflon ability to hold on to positivity, those things that make us feel lifted, those things that help us up the climbing wall, if we use that metaphor, we just let them go. But the things that drag us down, wow, are we good at holding on to them? Wow, are we good at holding on to them? All right, let's give you what glimmers mean. So we've covered Teflon, our Teflon ability to hold on to positivity, to use it as a foothold or a handhold to climb a wall. And we're really good at holding on to those things that drag us down and make that journey really, really difficult. And instead of focusing on and recognizing what we've achieved, we then put ourselves into that position of, yeah, but I'm not doing that yet. So this is about being engaged in the process, not always focusing on the end goal, on the end target, but actually, dare I say, enjoying or acknowledging or immersing or reflecting on or recognizing the things that you are doing in recovery that are going well. Maybe not always as well as you'd like them to, but this is a glimmer. Okay, so this was a post on our WhatsApp group for our Recover program. Recently, I learned about a term called a glimmer, which is the opposite of a trigger. Glimmers are any moments in your day that bring you joy, happiness, peace, gratitude, or love, making you feel good. The more you look out for them, the more you'll notice, and the fewer triggers you'll encounter. We tend to see what we actively seek. I don't know many people who wake up in the day and they're like, right, I'm going to focus on all the good in my life today. I'm going to focus on all those things that make me buoyant and all those things that uplift me and make me feel really, really good. I did something similar with my eldest boy this morning, 7 years old. We had a really nice morning this morning, the start of it. And we were looking out for nice things for the day. Gratitude work, you might call it. But it's very easy for that to slip. It's very easy for us to focus on the negative. And the next couple of hours, when my eldest son and my youngest son were playing together, it got a little bit aggro and they got heated and there was arguments and shouting. And it would be very easy for me to hold on to that and forget that really beautiful, wonderful 10 minutes of the first part of my day when I was just there in a flow state with my eldest, just going through all the things that are nice about life. It's very easy to drop that and forget that and focus on all the negativity that happened there afterwards, which wasn't a lot by the way, no more than any two other boys would do, but it's very easy to go, no, that was rubbish, that was appalling, that was awful, that was dreadful, ruined my day. Sound familiar? Make some sense? So do acknowledge, do recognize, do celebrate, do just hold on to, even for a moment, do cherish those times when you're like, oh yeah, that was quite nice. That was actually really pleasant. That was a win. That was a success. I did that. Hold on to it. You may want to journal about that. More in coming podcasts on journaling and the benefits of journaling. Instead of journaling about the negative side of things, so are you keeping a pain diary where you just focus on the rubbish and the dreadfulness of it all? Or do you keep another kind of diary? If you are keeping the pain diary, and I'll do a podcast on this, maybe it's time to focus on something that's uplifting and light and joyous. That holds a lot more benefit in your recovery than always analyzing and ruminating and assessing the negativity, because then we'll hold on to it and we'll grip onto it. And that becomes our mode of thinking then. If we can shift, if we can have a different approach, if we can start to recognize and see those things that are uplifting, our glimmers, it can make a big difference. It's not easy. I'm not saying this is an easy exercise to do. And working with someone can make a really, really big difference here. But do stop and acknowledge at the end of the day the things that went well. Do give yourself a pat on the back for that. Even if they were the smallest thing, acknowledge that, recognize that. Saying goodbye to my youngest son today after we've had a bit of a frictitious, no, a bit of a agitation this morning. That's a better word to use. Saying goodbye to my youngest son this morning after some agitated conversation this morning around breakfast time was a much nicer way to finish that exercise and that experience. And it's left me feeling more buoyant about that. It's left me feeling and remembering just that, oh, goodbye, love you, Daddy, love you, Sonny is his name. That's a much nicer way to finish that period of time. And that's going to leave me feeling uplifted. I hope you're able to apply the same principles to yourself. I hope you're able to let go of some of the velcro stickiness of those negative doom spirals that we can find ourselves in, and hold on to some of those things in our Teflon frying pans that easily slip and slide away. But that's priceless. That's absolutely gold. And those, ladies and gentlefolk, are called glimmers. That's it. My name's Carl. This is a Friday takeaway. I hope you've enjoyed it. Do comment, share, subscribe, do reach out, do email me, info at pelvicpainmatters@gmail.com. That's pelvicpainmatters@gmail.com. I'd love to hear from you. Do come back to me with any suggestions for future podcasts as well. Until next time.